Glad to know you could stay. Now, the last lap of our conversation brings us to the issue of tree planting. In commemoration of the just concluded World Tree Planting Day, held under the theme Rooting for the Future, Plant Trees, Restore the Earth, we now turn our focus on climate action through tree planting. As the world continues to grapple with rising temperatures, erratic rainfall, flooding, and massive deforestation, tree planting has evolved beyond a symbolic gesture. It has become a critical environmental solution, especially for fragile ecosystems like those in the Niger Delta. But the big questions remain. What real changes have taken root over time? Are we planting enough trees to reverse decades of damage? What steps have been neglected? And more importantly, what immediate and collective actions are still urgently needed? The governmental agencies opt for collaborations, and how much of their work supports to address these pressing questions and examine the progress made so far, the challenges that persist, and how individuals, communities, and governments can each play vital roles in healing the land. We have in the studio founder, Women in Nature Conservation Organization, WINCO, and coordinator, Global Landscape Forum, GLFX, Uyo. Ememobong Umoh joins us live. You're welcome to the program. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Yes, well, to the layman, tree planting might sound like a trivial matter. Why are we planting trees? People might want to be wondering, we should be having skyscrapers everywhere. Why is it important to plant trees? Are we not supposed to have, very beautiful cities away from the suburbs, the hinterland? Tell us more, sort of a background information regarding how important it is to plant trees.
Thank you once again. And hi, everyone. The subject of tree planting is one that we cannot really exhaust. But let me start by saying that tree planting is the only way and the sure best sequester of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. I'll come back to that shortly. But tree planting to me has been, a career on one side, but more of a hobby.
Okay.
We plant trees. People just go into tree planting, maybe to beautify the environment for aesthetics. Others say, okay, let me just go do this tree planting, maybe in pots. That's still part of it. But majorly, with the crisis we are having on the environment, the high rate of degradation, and of course, population is still rising and, of course, going really up there. And we're already having issues. So tree planting, to me, in this era, is done to tackle our ever rising climate challenges.
Okay.
Yes.
I'd like you to bring us some understanding regarding the significance of the last theme, Rooting for the Future, Plant Trees, Restore the Earth. How significant is that theme, Restore the Earth? Is restoring the earth, can we say that restoring the earth is linked to planting trees? Can we truly restore the earth if we plant trees?
Yes. We have this ecosystem restoration, a decade of ecosystem restoration, and it came up by the United Nations and was to last till about 2030. And I think the significant thing there, the role of every one of us, we're all into this, was to embrace ecosystem restoration. Of course, restoring our earth through tree planting. Because like I earlier said, it's everything to me boils down to tree planting. Trees beautify, trees refreshes the earth. Trees, are there apart from food, livelihood for communities, and our health and well-being. So restoration, if you have a community, you have a family, a community, or a country, that's into tree planting, having the greens all around, so call it that way, then of course we are restoring the earth.
Oh,
Because
okay. You wanted to land in your thought.
I wanted to land because, like I earlier said, tree planting is the way forward to having a cleaner, a greener, and a more sustainable planet Earth.
Well, stats show that the Niger Delta region has lost about 40% of its mangrove, and I'm wondering how that would affect anything on the long run. Can you bring us up to speed with an understanding?
The Niger Delta is a peculiar region, faced with a whole lot of vulnerable to a whole lot of climate change impacts. Like we're already saying, it's glaring. So no stories about that. Oil spillage is there. The pollution is there. Then, of course, the clearing of the mangrove. Most times, because people don't have jobs, communities around, they've lost their livelihoods. Those that were farmers can't get good yield from their farms due to pollution, of course. And fishermen go to fish, and the harvest is not like it used to be because of pollution. So what happens is, okay, let's go in. The next available thing is probably the leftover mangroves. And they don't spread, they do it indiscriminately. But also know that commissions like the Niger Delta Development Commission, they just launched their tree planting. I don't know the scope of that, but I know it's been launched, I think, on the 5th of June this year. And there are pockets of NGOs, CSOs that I know are trying their best to do what they can to help the Niger Delta region, become or get gradually restored. Let me not say become restored, because it will take us real time.
Well, talking about, I know there's something called carbon credits, and that is supposed to be paid by establishments that emit these carbon dioxide, right?
Yeah.
Is that a thing in the Niger Delta region? And how do you think these monies are managed towards ensuring that the environments that are being, the environment that is suffering the devastation and all of the inimical issues that we're seeing around is regenerated?
Carbon credit has been a subject of real debates amongst conservationists. And to me, I don't think we're doing it right in Nigeria for now. Cross River State attempted to, I wouldn't know if they actually got it right. But all the same, I know for sure that if we are able to get, into good partnerships for global best practices, then of course we'll still get it right. You save your carbon. That's trees, of course, are carbon sinks. So the more the trees you're able to conserve or preserve, don't fail, don't cut, and all of that. That is how it will be calculated, and it comes back to you, sort of monetized. So when we get there, we'll know how best to handle that.
All right, let's narrow this down to what organizations like yours do, especially when it comes to playing a vital role in resuscitating the society when it comes to tree planting now. Have you been able to advocate some sustainable measures that government can adopt towards ensuring that these real issues are addressed effectively? Because it might seem as though it is not truly given its pride of place. We are focusing on other issues that we think are more important, whereas this is also, from your conversation with me now, it's also equally very important and should be taken seriously. What are organizations like yourself doing towards ensuring that the message is put out there as effectively as it should be?
Thank you once again. Women in Nature Conservation Organization, we're about 6 years old plus, and we've done a whole lot. Established in 2015 and incorporated in 2019. We have a focus towards ecosystem restoration, tackling the degradation in what I would call community forests, formerly known as sacred forests. Akai, or yeah, I know maybe you don't understand this is Akaium now, but we are trying to see how we can get back to conserve these places. So we've had projects like Stemming the Tide and impact of degradation and illegal deforestation in communities. We've had ongoing projects like the Greener projects, and our focus was to see how we could, introduce tree planting in, like, let people see that this thing we should do it at community level, in fact, at individual level, from the individual to your family, to your community, then to the states as a whole, and of course, becomes a global thing, because local impacts or local acts and actions seeing and looking towards global impact. So we've done tree planting at community level, we've done tree planting at the state levels. We have a whole lot to showcase. And still, let me just mention this. On tree planting, we discovered while doing the work we're doing passionately, my team are passionate people, we discovered that it's not really all about the trees we plant, but beyond tree planting, there's something else. Beyond tree planting, we should look at sustainability. We've had to go to places, hotspots where there is biodiversity, and you meet women, especially, I'm really concerned, women in nature. So you see community women, and they look so, allow me to use this word, dejected, in the Niger Delta region. And you see that they have the resources, maybe some of them have had a good share of the climate change impacts. So a lot, they either don't have their farms anymore, can't plant, to get the good yield like before and all of that. So we decided to come up with what we discovered from a tree, very commonly grown in the southwest Nigeria. We call it the jackfruit. I wouldn't know if you know the jackfruit. So we got jackfruit, started something like an agroforestry sort of a thing for women and other community members. And today, I would proudly say that we've piloted locally processed products, value chain from this single fruit, the first of its kind in Nigeria. And of course, we had the hands-on demonstration of this outside the country globally for four times. We are proud to say that our women today, more than 800 of them have been trained. So women in nature conservation, we're not just, yes, we do tree planting. We've been doing tree planting right from 2015, but beyond tree planting, we look at how we can, monitor these trees. And I have to stop here to also say that just a few days ago, I had a call from someone. They went to Ikotabasi school monitoring program. And the next thing was, who is this, I said, yes. And all they had to tell me was, thank you, we were going, a team from Subeb, we're actually going on monitoring, and we saw some of the trees you planted, in 2017. I had even forgotten about it. Already grown in the school orchard, the fruits, they're already using it, maybe doing their own, I don't know, either for economy. But then, that's just the beauty of tree planting. So Women in Nature Conservation Organization, we're planting, we're grooming younger people, women to imbibe tree planting. We're into ecosystem restoration, like I earlier said, and of course climate action.
All right.
Because talking about tree planting is a major climate action.
Okay, so I'll just would round up this conversation with a role of local actors towards ensuring that this awareness is taken down to the grassroots. Amen. Do you think that this is an important step? Government should ensure that this message is spoken about much more than it is currently. What is your charge?
I would say emphatically that, like I said, everyone is involved. So publicity, if you hear that there is a global event and it's being marked at the local level, like the recent event we had, the World Environment Day, where the Ministry of Environment brought people to, for the very first time in Akwa Ibom State. Then you have a way of doing the publicity to the grassroots. Let people come out and learn. and not only learn and share. Indigenous knowledge matters here too. So stakeholders coming together and taking action in the right direction and knowing the species to plant at the right place at the right time, then of course we'll have a better
Well, thank you
ecosystem.
very especially, Ememobong Umoh, for coming on the program, founder, Women in Nature Conservation Organization, WINCO. Thank you for making out time to speak with us on Niger Delta today. We hope the ideas and thoughts would yield the much desired fruits. Thank you.
Appreciate it.